Right, I didn't put slides together for this one. I'm a bit slided out, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this one, we're gonna do a bit more candid, where I'm just gonna speak. This is actually a topic I was thinking about doing this for the podcast or for YouTube, and I thought it's relevant even in here anyway, and it's kind of an extension of what I spoke about last week. Now, if anybody didn't watch that training and you're thinking, what on earth is she on about? This one might not make as much sense, but it should also work as a standalone. But for anyone, I don't think, I'm just trying to see if anybody's on here that didn't. I think everyone's got access to it. I don't think anyone's come into the program since I shared it last week. Mary, you might not have been. I know I shared it on Tuesday and I know you came in on Tuesday, but I'm not sure of the order of those two events. So if I do need to reshare it, just give me a holler and I can. But I want to talk about there are essentially three. Let me just close this. Hang on. I've got a million screens open. Hang on. But there's essentially three emotional triggers that we can. God, this dog, honestly, it's supposed to say sliding across the floor trying to get at these flies. Crazy. I'm like, that's not distracting at all. But there's essentially three emotional triggers that can cause you to feel certain things or become emotionally engaged or attached to how you're feeling in some way. Now, they are essentially circumstances, other people, or ourselves. And I'm going to break down each one and go into each one a little bit. So, if we think about circumstances, now these can be by choice, but sometimes they also might not be. So, for example, I'm sure some of you guys, obviously not wishing it upon anyone, but like if we take Jess as an example, she was in a car accident recently. She did not choose that. Nobody leaves their house that day going, you know what, I'm going to go into a car accident. I'm thrilled. This is what I'm going to go and do. It just happens. It's circumstantial, but it can then drive a reaction naturally from us. Now, I think Jess took that like an absolute champ and she kind of shared it in the community, and everybody kind of weighed in on how it might impact her body. But she asked really good questions off the back of this. How might this impact my body? Like all of these different things. But she didn't take it like, and even she came to the Stronghurst Summit and she had to get a partner to drop her off and pick her up again. So it was like, you know what, I'm not going to let this actually impact me. And there's a really powerful example of a circumstance where this person didn't have any control over. And it's told that the story is told by a guy called Daniel Priestley, and he's a business entrepreneur. So I tend to listen to a lot of those different things. But he talks about a friend named Pedro, and Pedro went on a night out. He just went into a club. He didn't excessively drink, just had a few drinks, ended up in hospital, and a few days later, he woke up as a quadruple amputee. So just above his elbows and just above his knees, he lost those limbs essentially. And like, I think it was basically alcohol poisoning, and where the circulation shuts off to your finger and everything starts to turn black. And if they didn't remove it, he was essentially going to die. So he went out completely fit and healthy. A few days later, he'd lost all of his limbs. And he basically, when he went home, went back to his parents' home, obviously couldn't do anything for himself at first. And for a couple of weeks, he basically describes himself as no more than a couch potato or vegetable. All he was doing was sitting there watching TV relentlessly, and that was it. And he had a moment where he decided, I can either let this be the worst thing that ever happened to me, or I can allow it to be the best thing that ever happened to me. And he decided on the latter. Now he's a very highly successful business owner, a public speaker, and he also runs a charity for other individuals going through that. And it reminded me of, we had a girl called Lauren who joined the program, and she was an amputee as well. And just one of her arms, I say just one, obviously it's quite a big deal, but just below the elbow. And I remember the conversation that I had with her, and I was thinking, I wonder which way she's going to go with this. Is she going to see it as something that's going to stop her from reaching her goals? Or is she going to lean into this? And she actually had a prosthetic arm that was called Lizzie that she'd never ever used, and it lived in the attic. And it was a leopard print arm, and she was so afraid of being seen with this leopard print arm. So she chose the design, but then I think she just started feeling really self-conscious. And the arm was designed with an attachment so that she could actually utilize it in the gym, but she was so afraid of doing it. And literally within 24 hours of me taking the call with her, her coming into the program, me designing her program, and off she went. And she went and got, well, she didn't, but a partner went and got the prosthetic out of the attic. Literally 6 to 8 weeks later, she was deadlifting more than I weigh. And I was like, yes. Do you know what I mean? Because that's a really proud moment for a person that, again, her circumstance led to that. She could not have done anything to avoid that from happening, but she did have a choice. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Every single one of you, even when life is lifing and it's not feeling like it's giving you the things that you want, there is a choice in how you react. And some of the women inside of this program have been through some serious trauma. I'm talking childhood trauma, teenage trauma, things that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy. And at the time, it's this huge emotional reaction. It's this huge, do you know what I mean? It takes a lot to come through that. And some people don't come through it. And that is the genuine sad reality. But then some people decide one day, you know what? I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let that choose the path that I decide to go down. And actually, I'm going to do something for myself. And again, they go on to, a lot of you guys will have seen Carissa on my post. They go on to create the most incredible lives. And her confidence now versus when she came into the program, her sleep, her energy levels, her ability to go and do things that she's dreamed, like with the photography and everything that she's doing, is second to none. But we could allow it to define us. And that was circumstantial. Again, those examples where something's happened to you that you did not deserve. Nobody on this earth deserves some of these circumstances that I'm referring to. And I'm not going to share the details because it's not the right thing to do. And it doesn't matter because it's their truth. But that waking up and going, you know what? I'm actually going to turn this around and I'm going to do something to make myself proud, to make my children proud. And I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to use it to fuel me. It's no longer going to be sat there as this dark cloud hovering over my life. I'm actually going to design my life in a way that I choose, that's going to validate me and is going to uplift me and make me the best version that I can become. So even when you feel like something circumstantial happens to you that is the end of the world, I can promise there is somebody else out there that's gone through something far more harrowing than you can possibly even consider. So actually redefining the moment and going, you know what, do I need to emotionally binge because this has happened? Do I need to try and go on a derail because this has happened? Or actually, can I refunnel and refocus my energy to turn this around and actually use it as a guiding star? I don't want to be that version of myself. I want something different, and that's okay. But it's also okay to not have it all figured out all of the time. It's also okay to have those emotions and to feel them and to sometimes go back to those memories. Like every single one of you will have your own version of trauma or your own history of something that's happened that you decided not to let define you, that you decided to do something different and actually progress into you. Like body fat doesn't just come on by accident. As an example, anyone who has ended up in a position of really feeling like they're overweight, there is usually a trauma attached to it. The weight, like the weight gain, is the side effect. It's not the cause. The cause is usually something else that needs unpicking in order to be able to work on that side. And until that work is actually done, it is potentially going to hold you back. And this is why we do so much focus on mindset. And the same goes the other way. We've got women in this program who have like a disordered eating past in the complete opposite direction, where they've potentially done a lot of damage through things that have happened in like teenage years or later on in life, essentially. I know women who have been like basically bulimic after they've had a baby because they've become so disattached to their body and everything they thought they knew as an athlete. And then suddenly that's taken them into a really, really dark place. But most of the time they've managed to get out of it. And this is what we're kind of fighting for every single day. We're going to get hit with circumstances, we're going to get hit with things. And there's a really famous saying that the five people you spend the most time with in your life, you will become the sixth. So look at the circle, your inner circle, and who you spend the most time with, and genuinely ask yourself, are these the people that I would like to be like? And if not, some of the time it's time to let things go and it's time to move past it. It's time to decide that version is not serving me. And it's okay to let people go. It's okay to decide, actually, this is not serving me. It's not serving my mental health. And actually, I need to switch my environment. And that might be work as well. If you're in a really toxic environment or the people around you are not giving a good energy and or you don't feel respected in that space anymore, even with that, sometimes it's time to move on, time to park it and decide. But that is a choice. You can choose to stay unhappy in that environment, and you can choose to stay a lower version of yourself in that situation, or you can decide, you know what? I'm going to go and look for another job. This is not where I want to be anymore. Or even if you've become super fucking comfortable and you think, you know what, I think I've hit a ceiling here, or I don't think I'm actually getting the best out of what I want to achieve from this. Go and look for something. Do you know what I mean? That is 100% within your power and your control. You don't have to find something straight away. You might not get the first thing that you look at, but you can still decide this is the energy where I'm going to put it into, and I want to do something different. The other one is other people. Great example of this for me today was that dickhead who decided to land on my Instagram this morning. A lot of you guys have probably seen the reel where essentially fitness with Ross or whatever it was, and thank God I don't think he is a coach. Literally, I was like, I need to check this guy out and see if he's actually a fitness coach. But he just landed on my page and said something like face for radio. And I'm a bit like, so, okay, so you think I'm ugly, which is fine. That's an opinion. You are absolutely entitled to have that opinion. But your internal energy is so fucking ugly. Do you know what I mean? To actually just decide this woman who has done nothing to me, he just saw one reel of mine and decided to literally go in. And then when I called him out for it, he said I was toxic femininity. And I was like, what? For standing my ground against a red flag man. Make it make sense. But you know what? His words didn't actually hurt me. And it takes a lot to penetrate my skin. I'm not gonna lie. It did happen a few years ago. I had a property account on TikTok and it went majorly viral. I don't know what happened with that particular content, but it was like hundreds of thousands of views. And I decided TikTok is not the place for me. It can be a very, very dark platform if you are found by the wrong people. But everybody literally went in on my teeth. And I actually remember being really upset by that. And I thought, I can't do anything about that. Do you know what I mean? Unless I'm going to fly to Turkey and go and get my entire teeth done. Bearing in mind, I've already had my teeth done. UK don't do such a good job. But I was thinking, you know what? If it's good enough for Freddie Mercury, it's good enough for me. We're British. We're quite known to have shit teeth in this country. But this is the point. Even if somebody is trying to impact your energy or bring you down, you still get to decide how you react. Now, one thing I will say is if somebody says something to you and it hits a nerve, that is work that you need to do because they're just projecting. They're saying something like that guy this morning. He did not in the least bit bother me. And I actually found the whole exchange quite funny. But to somebody else, they would be deeply impacted by that. But the reality is, you're only likely to get hurt by something if there is a shred of truth in there or if you're already feeling a certain way. So, for instance, if somebody called me fat, and fat is just a word, it's not something that you are, it's something that we all have. Do you know what I mean? Every single woman in this program has got body fat on her physique. Some have got more than others. But you're all on this journey for a reason. Some of you would like to potentially build more muscle, all of these different things. But if somebody called me fat, I wouldn't be in the least bit offended because I'm okay in my body. I've worked fucking hard for the physique that I've got. And it's really interesting because there's a Croatian woman inside of the program and she went home to Croatia and her family were like basically telling her she was fat. And I remember doing the phone call with her and I was like, it was a Zoom, and I was like, holy shit, your family said that to you. They out and out said that to you. And she was like, yeah. But she said, it's not like British people. We don't tell the truth. Like British people do not speak the truth like that. They're more likely to say it behind your back than say it to your face. And she said, no, my family said that to me out of a place of love because they were concerned for me. And I actually think there's something quite gracious in that, actually, when she explained it. And I thought, yeah, I remember when I got chunky during lockdown and I came out of lockdown feeling awful. I genuinely felt it was the lowest point I have ever been in my entire life, and everything reflected that feeling. Literally everything was going to pieces in my life. And I remember everybody going, no, you look amazing. I don't care what you think because, again, that was the opposite effect. They're telling me I look amazing, but I knew in my heart that I did not feel amazing. I didn't look amazing. I'd put on more weight than I ever had, and I didn't love myself in that moment. So they could tell me what they thought I wanted to hear, but I was never going to believe it. But the exact opposite can happen where somebody might say something to you, like Jelenka's family, and actually, maybe they're not saying it out of a place of hatred or even projecting their feelings onto you. Sometimes people are saying something to you because they want you to become a better version of yourself. But you will only ever be offended if there is some truth in what's being said. If you genuinely know that's not me, I cannot relate to that at all. No part of what you're saying is going to impact me, then you're all good. But also, there is a state of mind to that. I have spent years, probably maybe going a bit too far, but I'm probably borderline emotionally dead in that side. That it's really hard to say anything that is really going to upset me. Anything that is it is that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And the more you can kind of train that side of you to go, no, you know what? I'm on my journey. I don't really care what anybody else thinks. This is about me. And I'm doing my inner work. Like that guy on my Instagram, he was projecting onto me. And I think it probably was something to do with a bit of an inferiority complex where he feels the need to put down women that just literally show up on his page. I did nothing wrong to that guy. And when we looked at his content, this great big enormous house, this, I don't know what it was, like an incredible Porsche, whatever. And I think Thomas said he was like 23 years old. I'm like, you didn't earn that. No part of that have you grafted for. No part of that have you actually gone out there and done the hard work to get to those things. Either it's a fake account or you never did that and you've just been given it all. And now you've got an inferiority complex, and I fucking hope it's his mum who's the successful one. I really do. And maybe that's where the hatred comes from, because he doesn't like to see other successful women take up space. Or it might well be trained into him from his father. But again, red flag. That is red flag energy, and we just walk on by because that is not, it's not our issue. it's not something that we should be taking the time or the energy. I entertained it because I thought, you know what, I've got an extra 5 minutes between meetings. I've got an extra 5 minutes. I'm just going to see where this guy goes with this. And I just thought it was funny. And then I ended up getting blocked and he deleted all of his comments. And I thought, yeah, of course you did, because I just said I was about to out you to nearly 18,000 followers. You're going to get your fucking ass handed to you. And just to be clear, that's not the Ross that's my best friend who's also in fitness. Because I was thinking, oh, maybe I should say this so people realize they are not the same person. But this is it. Other people will potentially try and bring you down to their level, but it is not something that you can control. We can't control other people. We can only control our reaction to other people. And if you do react in a certain way, there is a little bit of inner work that you could be doing, and note it. Genuinely take note of what was said and why you felt like you reacted like that. What is the thing that you actually need to do that inner work with? And either, like me and my teeth, you either come to peace with it, or you decide to develop and grow and change the thing. So that might be your body. That might be somebody in a past relationship told you certain things about your body, and you decide, right, okay, you know what? I'm not happy being that version of myself. I'm going to go on this journey and I'm going to design and create the best version of my physique that I possibly can. That's within your control. And that leads us on to ourselves, because that's the only one. We can't control 100% of circumstances. We can't control 100% of what other people are going to do, but we can control ourselves, and we can decide, I'm going to grow a bit of thicker skin. I'm actually deciding I do want to become the best version of myself, and I'm prepared to do the work that is required to get there. This program was always about so much more than fat loss, muscle gain, getting stronger in the gym. The biggest gift I could ever give to any of you is the mindset. That piece of the puzzle to say, I am working on becoming the best version of myself. And this, like I said last week, this never stops. This is never something that we master or we get there with. This is always a moving piece of the puzzle, but it's something that we have to pay attention to. We have to become the greatest studies of ourselves. We have to be absolute in-depth researchers and actually understand, how am I showing up? How am I accepting of others? How am I? And again, it's that feeling of being kind to everybody you meet. And there was a really good Hormozy quote the other day. The single greatest thing you can do is be in a good mood when there is nothing to be in a good mood about. And it's actually not the same as practicing gratitude, because that is attaching a feeling of good when there is something to be good, like feel good about. Whereas what he's saying is, and he said, I don't even know if it's possible. That was the reality of what he was saying. But essentially what he was getting at is, it's really fucking easy, isn't it, to be in a bad mood for no reason. You can literally be tired, you could be hungry, you could be irritable, you could be hormonal, you could be all of these things. It's really, really easy to be in a bad mood for no reason. So why don't we try and be in a good mood for no reason? Why don't we just try and be kind and smile? And even if hatred or negativity or bad energy, bad vibes come our way, or even if somebody's struggling, somebody's stuck, like, it takes literally nothing to be kind, be polite, and walk around with a smile on your face. And that, I think, is an important thing to really try and build your day. So, like, the app is going to shit over the last kind of few days, but you do get to choose how you respond to that and go, yeah, this is annoying. And it is annoying. And if you were here in January, my God, this is about 1% of what was going on in January. It was hell on earth for weeks on end. There were so many updates, so much. And now, don't get me wrong, the app did get better as a result of all of the updates that were being pushed through. But my God, did that seem like the worst possible time to actually tweak and develop an app in January when everyone is going, I want to be the best version of myself. I'm like, well, you can't fucking use the app, so good luck. But it will get fixed, it will get sorted. And this is it. I want people to think, you know what? It's not the end of the world. What is my solution to this? And sometimes I don't want to give the direct solution because I want you guys to figure it out. I want you to switch on the part of your brain that decides, right, how am I going to work through this? How am I going to problem solve? How am I going to actually think up a solution that is going to work with me? And I think it was Rachel who shared what she was doing, and then people said, that's great, I'm going to take on that model. That is what we want to breed, like the ability to self think and grow and go, yeah, you know what, this is a challenge. I could have a complete meltdown about this. And I do get it because obviously we're coaching you to put all of this information into the app and then we can't see anything and we're all going to be a bit blind. But do not use it as a reason to hit the fuck it button. Do not use it as a reason to go, well, my coach can't actually see what I'm up to. So you know what? We're going to fucking know come check in who has found that solution and who decided not to. We are going to know where you all stand with this. And the other thing I want to say, so Kat and I, as you all know, we always meet on a Monday to go through. Now, some of you guys are going to get me in your check-in this week. Some of you guys are directly coached by me, but some of you guys are more heavily coached by Coach Kat, and she will do your check-ins. If I am showing up to your check-in this week, it means I'm putting a fucking rocket under your arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Genuinely. I'm like, guys, some of you, there's only a handful. We're only talking about a handful of you, but we need to move the fucking needle. Like, we're not here to play small. I need you to get to your goal. I want you to succeed in your time in this program. So use this as your warning. If I am turning up to your check-in, it means, and I'm not that great at playing nice. I am not that great at going, it's okay, it's okay. You've spent a month off track. No, do you know what I mean? Come on. We need to keep moving the needle. I'm not asking for perfection. I am not asking for anything that is not possible for you guys to dial into and achieve. But I am going to be making sure that you are getting back on track. I am going to be giving a boot up the backside if that needle has not moved in the next few days. So be warned. If I am in your check-in, I am coming for you. People always tell me I tell them off. I don't tell people off. I just have firm words. And this is your warning. If you do not want me in your check-in, dial the fuck in and actually get back on the horse because, like I say, it's not that difficult. But the thing that challenges me the most is the honesty. You need to be honest. And if you are struggling, that's where we are here. Reach out, ask the right questions, genuinely tell us what is going on, and then we can help you through it. Because I am not in the business of leaving any woman behind inside of this program. You are paying for a service. It is my job to deliver on that. It is my job to make sure that we are getting you to where you need to be. But if you're not saying anything and you're just trundling along and everything is just staying so, I'm going to be calling you out on that. And I am going to be asking for you to dial in to a better version. We need to start stepping it up. And like I say, we're talking like 3% of the entire program. Like this is not, it's not massive. It's a very, very small portion, but it's noticeable now for some of you, and I am going to be showing up and I am going to be making sure that everything is boxed off and that kind of so attitude is not moving forward because that, like I say, we don't want that for you. You don't want that for you. So just know that's what's happening. Right, I'm gonna go to the chat. Twant, yes. I mean, I did use the C word. I was like, this guy, this guy. I had someone say recently, you've lost weight, and I said, yeah, I feel amazing. And they said you needed to lose it, wasn't sure how to take it. This is it. Take it as you take it, but I just think about how you took it. Did it offend you or did it not offend you? Because Again, as British people, we are quite good at kind of giving backhanded compliments, and we're kind of like, oh yeah, but, and sometimes we just don't know how to be really nice. But there was a compliment in there, but you get to decide how you take it. Are you okay with it or are you not? Because you get to choose that reaction and go, no, you know what? I'm on a journey. Like, and actually, again, a little bit like Zelenka's family, and we had it with another woman called Carolina. The Polish are also apparently quite brutal. So anyone that's got family overseas, apparently Brits, we're the ones who just don't say it. So maybe that was a kindness. And also, the reality is, you joined this program, Jem, because you agree. You did agree with them. So I would probably be like, yeah, you know what? That's fair. I don't Do you know what I mean? I don't know that you needed to say that, but that's why I joined this program because I want to become a better version of myself and I'm doing it. Yeah, we don't need the trolls. Ross has mummy issues, he definitely does. I also have a few jealous people just now, and it fuels my determination even further to succeed. Absolutely. Jealousy, it serves no purpose. I don't really know where that stems from or how people. But then I had a woman in my Instagram the other day. This was a really good example where she was messaging, really good conversation, basically saying how the typical, it's a lot of what I hear, career woman, high achiever, put herself right at the bottom of the pile. But she actually got to the point where she said, I'm starting to resent my family, my children, and my husband because I'm doing everything. I'm driving this ship so hard and no one else is paying any attention to my needs. And then she said, like I followed back in with her, and then she said, "Oh, and I saw my friend the other day, and it actually made me really fucking angry because she'd lost some weight and she's done it and I've done fuck all." And but that's it, I've never heard from her again. And part of me wants to go, but that's a choice. You are making that choice. You can speak to your partner and ask them to turn up more so that you can take a little bit of time for yourself. She is in a relationship where she can choose to have that conversation and tell him, I am not happy with where I'm at. You need to step up a little bit here. But then she was just really angry for her friend who had gone on this incredible transformation journey. And I'm thinking, how does that not fuel you as a person? How does that not make you want to turn up for yourself? But not everybody can be helped. Not everybody is at a point where they are ready to actually do the work. But amazingly, you guys are. That's what you're here for. So no one will check in this week now. You can imagine. Literally, everyone goes, no, fuck that. Fuck that. She's coming for me. I am not checking in this week. That'll be absolutely hilarious. You just get a day off, Cat. It's just like, no, don't need to work Friday this week. No, it'll be fair, but it will be firm. I'm going to say what needs to be said, but I want to make sure, and no app is going to be an excuse, by the way. If anyone comes to check in and goes, oh, but the app wasn't, no, I'm not buying that game. We know we can work around it. We're all, do you know what I mean? Adult women with great, the IQ in this group chat will be well above average. I'm probably bringing the average down, by the way. I'm just a hard worker. I'm not naturally very intelligent. It's just, that's my life. I just know how to graft, but my IQ is probably not as high. But you guys, do you know what I mean? You're some incredibly smart women, incredibly talented women. You don't get to where you've got to by not being able to think and do. That just doesn't happen. So you're all fully capable of doing what you need to do. Needed this little pep talk today. And for the record, Jess, you're not one of them. You're not one of them. You're all good, so don't panic. But yeah, so that's probably it from me in terms of that. Does anybody have any questions? Any app, not the issue of the app, but any training questions, nutrition questions, mindset questions, anything they want to share on what was talked about or anything at all, this is your time while you've got me to ask anything, and you can put it in the chat or unmute yourselves. You guys have got complete choice. Ah, I've just seen the fucking Fathom note taker is in there. Snuck in the little arsehole. Now, I don't know how it's recorded, but hopefully it has. Never mind. I'm now trying to work out if it's me. No, Mandy, it's not you. You've had the most fucking insane journey. Literally insane. It is not you. I'm loving every moment in this program. I am thriving. Loved your headshots, Becky. Absolutely love that. And I think Vicky went through a similar experience not that long ago, maybe like 6 weeks, 2 months ago. The amount of women I hear on the Zoom say, I had my headshots back at work and I felt disgusting. Like it breaks my heart, it really does. So to see when you guys get those headshots back, and I know these headshots can get used in so many different places. So to actually enjoy what you see coming back, the photographer actually from the summit last week, he messaged me today to say we're almost ready. Now, I don't know what that means in photography language. That could be a day, it could be a week. I don't know, but bear with. Hopefully, it sounds as though they should be coming this week. Um, what was that? Where am I? Oh, they're moving so fast. Hang on. Yes, please. Oh, it keeps moving. How the bloody hell do you get carbs down? Why does everything have carbs? Because without carbs, you lose the will to live. I mean, it is true. My honest advice to this one about carbs is so, as we know, carbs are not the enemy, but the proportion of how many of them we have, that's where we need to keep those kind of under control because, again, it can fluctuate the water retention and the weighing scales will react to a high number of carbs. I just literally have a smaller portion of the thing that I'm having. That is literally my solution. So, like for my lunch, and as you all know, I'm in a cut at the moment. I have half a bag of Mexican microwavable rice. That's literally what I had. So normally, out of a cut, I'd have a full bag. I just have half a bag. I had low fat garlic bread with my chicken Caesar salad dinner. So because there were no carbs, I didn't actually buy the bags where you get the croutons. So it was literally just a handmade version of a Caesar salad with chicken. And I just put a little bit of garlic bread with it, low fat garlic bread, two slices from Aldi, and I think they're about 130, 140 calories off the top of my head. So really low in carbs, but I still got to have them and I still enjoy them. Breakfast, I have oats. I actually bought Weetabix. I've been really fancying Weetabix. I keep seeing fitness influencers have Weetabix, and I like a bit of Weetabix. So I thought I'm going to bring that energy to my day and see how it goes. But if I was having oats, just have a little bit less oats. I don't really cut any of the carbs out that I would have. I just reduce the volume. That's all I do. And the same for when you start reverse dieting. I just increase the volume of the things that I'm already usually having. Let me just scroll back. I agree, Hannah. Can't get the carbs down and the fat up. So we spoke about the fat, didn't we? So the fat one, again, and you're brand new, right? So this can take a little bit of like jiggery pokery to get it right. But again, just reducing what you're already having carbohydrates wise and fat wise is just to have some fat, as in, so today I bought, because I am cutting 0% fat Greek yogurt. Replace that with 5%, and you've immediately got a bit more fat content. Avocados are amazing. Like again, I've bought 5% beef mince. I could easily have 10% or even 20% if I wanted to, or I just cook with a little bit of olive oil if I really want to. So it's the liquid fats that what they don't do is make you feel like you're having a ton of extra volume, but it's just a liquid fat where a bit like my Caesar salad for dinner this evening, there's a Caesar dressing, sorry, on the top, which again is a fat. So you don't need much because, as we know, fats are 9 calories for every 1 gram, whereas your carbohydrates and your protein are 4 calories per every 1 gram. So to suddenly increase your fats, you don't need a huge amount. We're only talking about a little bit extra here and there, just tweaks, and you will make it happen. And you'll see it happen quite quickly because fats is really easy to just bump up a little bit. And a little bit goes a long way in terms of calories. I'm the saddo that sat and put my foot into an Excel spreadsheet to navigate the app. I'm the saddo that sat and, oh, my food, not my foot. I read that as my foot, and I was like, this is not adding up here. What are we doing with our feet in a spreadsheet? A food into an Excel spreadsheet to navigate the app. There you go. This is it. Solutions oriented to go. And I promise you, it will get rectified very quickly. They will do one of two things. They'll either fix the bug and there will be another immediate update, which I think is most likely, or they will revert back to the latest version while they unpick the bugs. But it's the same as Apple update all the time, different apps that you work with. Instagram, every single time Instagram does an update, it is the most glitchy platform in the world. And when you use it as your biggest kind of driver for what you do, it's the most annoying thing in the world. So honestly, I get it. I really do. And thankfully, I've not heard anybody saying about the actual tracking of work outside. That doesn't seem to be interfering. It is literally just the macros and calories and tracking. But my understanding is you can still log it, you can put it in, it's just going to disappear. So you can still add up what you're having, put it in, take a screenshot and go, right, that was 320 calories for breakfast, and then you literally use your calculator to add up your meals. So that's what I would be doing in that position. Honestly, couldn't live without a spreadsheet. It's the QS in me. Yeah, everyone loves a good spreadsheet. It's a personality trait, actually, if you like a spreadsheet. You are an owl personality, which I'm part owl, but more lion. Anyone ever wants to learn about personalities, I know all about that as well. I've posted mine everywhere. I logged out and back in again. Okay, so it looks like Becky, but some of you I think have managed to do the update and some of you haven't. So just be patient and see where you're at. But they will push it through. They definitely will. And like I say, it's not going to be like January. This is a very, very, very minor update that's going through. So it's not going to take long to rectify. But we do appreciate your patience. And I know it is frustrating, but again, I like being tested. That's one of my favorite things on this earth is to just be challenged and see how I react to things and go, nope, it's still a good day. Like even Ross being a shit-tard, no, it's still a good day. I'm still all good. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. Like I'm good. And it's a good thing to try and practice. Right. I'm gonna love you and leave you all. Sorry, I always take up a bit longer than than anticipated. So yeah, but any questions throughout the week, pop them in the group chat. Any queries, obviously if it's personal to you, pop it in the one-to-one or send it to me across direct. But yeah, let's have a really good week this week. Check-ins are amazing. Like Kat and I absolutely love seeing you guys thrive, seeing you get to where you want to get to. There's just a few of you that we just need to just push, just give you a little bit of a kick up the backside. So, like I say, maybe expect to see me Friday, maybe don't. I'll leave you guessing. Good night, ladies. Mwah. Bye.